Hello.
Hello.
Are you
Can I
at
ask
the
you a
mic?
question? Are your parents still alive?
Yes,
Okay.
both.
I wanted to ask you, like, what they think about you being famous now.
What they think about it?
Yeah.
I think they're proud. Yeah.
Do they know? Do they know like what's going on in your life? Do you keep them up to
Oh
up
yeah,
to date?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's no, they're proud and they're interested. They but they don't really. They never had like this understanding of what pinball is.
Yeah.
I used to, as a kid, I used to go to the arcades and just put all my quarters in all the games.
Yeah.
Maybe even steal some money from them. And, but they thought it was like a gambling kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they didn't really approve it. But now it's my career. So it's I guess now they're absolutely very proud that I work for a company in the U.S. It's pretty.
You work
amazing.
for Jersey Jack. My exact words 3 months ago when I didn't know anything about pinball were, I want to work for Jersey Jack.
Oh yeah.
And that's how this whole thing got started. Like, this is how my little pinball journey that I'm on got started with. So I do sales and business development, all that kind of stuff, usually for companies that are soulless. But I decided if I ever get back into sales again, I want to do it with some place that I'm just happy to be selling what it is that they've got to sell.
Mhm.
And I didn't realize that there was this thing. I didn't realize that this was a thing that was happening. And that's when the first time I think I came across your name was with the Guns N' Roses machine, and I was fascinated. Like, oh my God, look at what that thing does. Look at the animations on it. This is pinball now. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
Yeah, that must have been that's a major transition if you go from not knowing Jersey Jack Pinball then seeing Guns N' Roses. That's
Yeah, I had no idea. Because the only pinball experience that I had was my buddy bought a Next Generation and basically played it till it broke, and then it sat there for a couple years, and now we restored it. And then I realized that's how this whole thing started. Is I realized, okay, well, you bought it for 2.2, you put 800 in it, and now what? It's worth 9, or what's going on? This is weird. There must be something happening in this industry. And then I came across you, but. Gerard was specific that I shouldn't ask you the questions that everybody else asks you, just to basically not get on your nerves. So what I wanted to ask is, do you know the Big Lebowski, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
This is a movie that you're familiar with.
Yeah.
Would you mind grabbing the script here on your side, and we're gonna try and do like a little table read? You got one over there.
Yeah. No, I actually worked on the Big Lebowski as well. Did you know?
Oh, you did? I didn't know that.
No, I did the art and I did animations as well on that game.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Was that in the early days or?
Yeah, so I got to know the Dutch Pinball because of the shows here.
Yeah.
And they did the Bride of Pinbot, and I saw the potential in what they did, that they delivered quality. And Barry told me he was working on this project and the Big Lebowski, and I said, well, I'm interested. I want to be part of it. And at the time, I was working for Jersey Jack Pinball, but just the animations on Wizard of Oz at the time and The Hobbit. And then I got involved, and I did the art direction on the game.
Okay.
But it ended up me being the artist on the back glass and the cabinet art.
So this is from you?
Yes.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to get your signature on it. Gotta find that freaking pin. But okay, I didn't know that at all. That's cool. Is that a known thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
And have you always? I mean, you've since you were going and gambling as a kid and stealing money from pinball machines. That was when you said I want to do something with these things.
Yeah, so I did an design college for design, designing products. But at the time, I was already playing pinball, and I said to a friend, "Well, what if I try to get into Williams, do an internship there? Because I had to do an internship somewhere." Yeah. And he said, "Yeah, why not? Just do it." And so I sent my work to Williams. A few times, and at the time the email was just a few years old. Yeah. And so it happened, and I got into Williams just before they closed down. So I was there for 2 weeks, and then they shut down. I finished my internship at Midway, which was a daughter company of Williams.
Okay.
And then I always had good contact with Greg Ferris, who is the art director at Stern now, but also back then at Williams. And he got involved with Wizard of Oz, and he got me into Jersey Jack Pinball. So
that's
the backstory of it.
You gotta have a network.
Yes.
But so you actually went to, how old were you when you did your internship?
How old I was?
Yeah. I mean, were you like a young guy?
24.
Okay.
It's 23 years ago.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
They got me. I get.
Yeah.
And was it where were they based? Were they they were based in Chicago?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then that was the beginning of a cool journey that you've been on.
It was a cool journey, but
I feel like I read something that you were out of pinball for a minute, doing other animations or like working for TV or
yeah. So after my studies, I didn't decide to go work in the U.S. or. And pinball was pretty dead, so we only had Stern, didn't have any contacts there, and I didn't really feel like I needed to go there. My life was more Bally Williams, and so the 10 years after that, I got into television animation, doing broadcast animations, and that also got me a lot of experience in animation on the big screen, on the color screens instead of DMDs.
Yeah.
So that's also a reason why Greg approached me when I started freelancing, and with the Wizard of Oz having that big monitor, I had a lot of experience with the animations by the time 10 years later.
Yeah.
And and then pinball got this new what is that?
It's a new energy, maybe. I don't even like. It's
gained a lot of attention again, and I think Jersey Jack was a big part of it. But you saw a lot of small projects picking up, like the Wone Nelly project and the Spooky Pinball started, and Dutch Pinball started, and then it boomed over the past 10 years.
Do you have a reason for that? I mean, what's your reason for that?
I don't know. It's I guess I don't know. Maybe internet has made the world smaller, and then the knowledge of It's also I think also the people who grew up in the 90s got 40, 50 years old now, and they want to have their games back. They are now it's not anymore on location, so they want to have it at home, and there is a big market again.
Yeah. I think that has a lot to do with that's the feeling that I have is people in our age are starting to get a little money, have a little more space at home. We're all stuck at home with our kids, I think in the 80s we would have all been out drunk with some like girl at the bar having a good time with our families back home, but everybody's at home now, hanging out with the families and going down into the man caves. And
a reason why pinball sort of died in that time is that the touchscreen games really got into the locations. Yeah. And that was something new, but after a few years, everybody had seen those games, and we got the smartphones, and all the games disappeared at the locations. But pinball didn't really come back to the locations. A lot of people who I talk to now and tell what I do, they're like, "Oh, pinball, is that still alive?" And because nobody sees it anymore on the street. That's
I've heard that quite a bit since I got into it, and I'm telling everybody that I can. I mean, this is a thing. You should figure it out. And I was just talking to Bert earlier. One of the things, and I don't know how we can get this organized, but one of the things that we did is my buddy wants to buy the Alien, right? So he's really into the Alien, and we wanted to go play it. Like, what does it play like? And so we put it on Pinside. So basically, we want to play this. Does anybody have one? Like 6 people said, yeah, no problem, come by.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. You just show up to this guy's house, bring a beer with you, and you can play pinball. And everybody I've run into is just amazing people in this whole thing. So I can suggest to anybody, getting into it and at least having a look like what's going on and coming to this museum.
Yeah,
I like the museum a lot.
This museum is it's perfect. Yeah, I'm amazed by. I've been to the previous location. I didn't visit here yet.
Oh, this is your first time?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, it's awesome. I'm very overwhelmed by how nice it is over here. So,
Me too. It's one of the first, like, I've been to the ones in the States. I went to the one in Vegas before they moved locations, and I've always said it's almost just like, you know, it's a warehouse with pinball machines in it. Okay, it's nice if you like pinball machines, but it doesn't feel like a museum, and this place actually feels like a museum.
Yeah.
So let's try and do a table read, and we're going to do, like, the absolute classic thing in the very beginning. I'm going to try and find this, it's probably on page 2. So, okay. So we're on page 3. And here towards the bottom, the first one that says voice.
Voice who? Oh, where's the money, Lebowski?
There you go. So you start with that.
Where's the money, Lebowski?
We want that money, Lebowski. Bunny said you're good for it.
Where's the money, Lebowski?
Where's the money, Lebowski? Where's the fucking money, shithead?
It's down here somewhere. Let me take another look.
Don't fuck with us. Your wife owes money to Jackie Treehorn. That means you owe money to Jackie Treehorn.
Ever does the beat dads.
Deadbeats. Ever thus the beat deads, Lebowski.
Nice.
No, that's fine. So that was just like a quick little thing. I promised Gerard I would do something Lebowski other than just take the pictures. But what's next? Can you talk about anything that's happening?
I'm working on Eric's next game. Eric Meunier. He's the designer at Jersey Jack Pinball. It's his third game. Also doing art direction on that and animation, and it's exciting.
Is it important that you guys can work together well, or is this something you can do like on parallel tracks and it all comes together in the end?
Working together is very important.
Yeah.
And I almost have daily contact with Eric, although I work from the other side of the ocean.
Yeah.
We get on Skype and we brainstorm and we discuss stuff, and that has gotten a lot better over the years, growing into that working environment.
Yeah.
But I work mostly by myself, alone in my office in Nijmegen. Yeah.
In Nijmegen?
Yeah.
That's not far. I'm in Kleve a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
There you
so
go. Yeah.
if
you
you
should come and visit.
I'll definitely. And Pascal, the guy that's running around here, he's the one who actually lives in Kleve, and our families are really tight. So I'm there like every second weekend. But you should come visit us in Kleve as well, and then we can hang out and go down in the studio and make some content together. But I mean, like. Yeah, of course you can't talk about the titles that you're working on, but are you excited? Is this going to be something? Is it? I mean, what are you pushing boundaries? Can you tell us anything that we're expecting?
I cannot talk too much about any upcoming titles.
All right. Oh well, let me ask you this. Maybe you can say this. If you could snap your fingers and create anything that you want to create as far as a pinball machine's concerned, what would it be?
One of my what I've been thinking about lately is Beavis and Butthead.
Hey, I just said that the other day. A Beavis and Butthead pinball would be amazing. You know the new series is coming out. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, it's brand new.
I thought just the movie, a movie was coming out this year.
I thought maybe it was a movie. I thought it was a series, but I saw a trailer for something the other day, and I was sitting there. My son's 7, right? And I was watching this when I was like 15 and stoned all the time, and so I was in the mood for it. But me and my son were sitting on the couch, and it came up. I was like, you got to watch this. It's cool. Yeah. And we actually laughed for like 2.5 minutes. It was just amazing. Yeah. So Beavis and Butthead, that's definitely a good one.
Yeah. I guess it's very niche. People I talk to are like, oh, yeah. But yeah, it's a big part of my life, and when I grew up in the 90s, also the same story you have. But actually, with a friend of mine, we celebrate Carnival in Holland. We dress up in Carnival, but we made this huge like paper mache heads of Beavis and Butthead.
Okay,
and we would dress up like them. And so
who are you?
I was Beavis.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. And so do you do like also? I mean, on the Guns N' Roses. I mean, are you into the '90s rock? Is that
No,
also something you like to?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So AC/DC and well, that was a little '60s, '70s, but I mean the Metallica part of it and Guns N' Roses.
Yeah,
all that stuff.
so I'm more in. I was more of a grunge
Okay.
type of guy, and I listen a lot to the Smashing Pumpkins. But I'm not sure that's not probably the band you want to create a game for. But
You know, did you know that Billy Corgan bought the oldest wrestling brand in the U.S.?
no,
So the singer, the guitar
Yeah,
player,
yeah,
like the
yeah.
main dude, he was really into wrestling, and I read an interview with him one time that basically when he was a rock star, he wasn't allowed to admit it, and he had to always act like this badass rock star, which he wasn't. He's just like me and you.
Yeah.
And when he got some money and he got out of it, he bought this wrestling brand, and that's his thing. That's what he does, and I think he would be a perfect. Like, I think he would love pinball for sure.
Oh yeah, and he's from Chicago. So,
Yeah, and well, we should get him into Jersey Jack though. He would definitely be up for it. But that was my first concert. I saw Pearl Jam, Smashing Pumpkins, and Red Hot Chili Peppers in New Orleans for my first concert.
Nice.
So yeah, I get it. I liked all that music. I grew up in the South listening to country too, though. So I was like weird country and rock and all that kind of stuff.
I think definitely the themes of the band. So we've seen a lot of bands, mainly from the 80s, like late 80s, recently. Of course, Metallica and AC/DC survived that period after that as well. But you don't see a lot of bands from the 90s yet. And I hope that there will be more music games, pinball games from that era.
Do you have any idea how many pieces have to be sold for it to be a not a niche product? Like how many units would have to be sold so that it makes sense?
No, I don't know.
Okay, because
it's also hard to predict how many people will, buy a Beavis and Butthead game, and it also depends on how you execute it, maybe. Yeah, and we also tried with Dialed In. We did a custom theme. It's harder to sell because you have to tell a new story. That's the main thing. Like we have licenses now because everybody knows it already when you release it. So it's easier. And you don't have to create a story around it most of the time. But
how about I tell you an idea? You tell me whether it's stupid or not.
Okay.
Just from a I don't know, design perspective, skateboard. Like a real good skateboard theme.
Yeah. There is a skateboard game from the 80s.
The one from the 80s, sure. But I think it deserves attention in the new world.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that, it attracts to. It also sounds pretty niche. I guess a Tony Hawk themed could work, right? Also thinking about a known name in that sense, but it could, it's a nice theme.
I just like the idea of the ramps and things that you could do with it and all that kind of stuff.
Colorful graphics.
And there's lots of video content to work with.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're supposed to keep these short and sweet. I appreciate you coming by, and it was really nice to meet you. I hope this isn't the last time we're going to see each other. Yeah. If you're going to be here for the next couple of days, I'd like to maybe tomorrow night when I have a hotel here close, have a beer with you sometime, and then just pick your brain when we're not being recorded.
Yeah, sure.
All right, man.
Nice meeting you.
It was nice to meet you. Talk to you next time.
All right.
See ya.
Cool. Did you press record?
Yeah.